Excuse me, Flo? Like the TV show? Okay. What's your soup du jour?
It's the soup of the day.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Hey everybody, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
I know a lot of people were ready for a new year.
I don't know why. Why would
I don't
that
think
be?
much has changed yet, but hopefully it is.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we've got a lot of wonderful things coming in 2021.
We do.
Like this headband and this hat.
This is exciting. I've got this hat, and my word of the day is associated with everything with my hat, because my hat came from a friend. I lost a very good friend this year, and I was helping family members clean out her house. And my friend loved to do joyful, happy, funny things, and she always had a lot of hats.
So that's Charm's hat.
This is my friend Charm's hat, and it was a Happy New Year hat. So I'm wearing this in honor of her.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
Super cute.
Thank you. This is Soup du Jour, by the way.
Yeah, welcome to Soup du Jour.
Soup du jour, which means the soup of the day. And as fitting for New Year's, I think we should have some wine. This is actually Prosecco.
Yes.
But we're gonna have a little toast to us, to you, to 2020. Don't let the door kick you in the ass on the way out, or do. Either way.
Hopefully you did.
But Cola, what are you gonna do? You're gonna teach us.
Well, you're the one who learned this trick of opening champagne. Hopefully it works.
I thought that was supposed to be on the cork.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
Yeah,
supposed
and
to be
then
on
you
the
twist the bottom.
And then you twist the bottom instead
You
of
don't
the
twist
cork.
the cork.
So you just hold the cork where it's at and twist the bottom, and then the cork comes out much easier.
It really did. That was much better and safer. Safer. You could knock your eye out. That
Yeah.
kid.
So if you're trying to do something crazy, like then
Yeah.
you got.
If you've just won a big game, then you can pop your cork. But
Now the
here-
other thing we've learned is that you're only supposed to wet the glass, right?
Okay, yeah.
When you're drinking champagne.
Sure.
So you just do a little bit. I don't remember why.
And then it knocks
And
the
then-
bubbles down and pours easier, I think, was the whole thing. So it doesn't
Yeah.
get so excitable there as it comes up.
Here.
You know what's ironic about Soup du Jour today is that I actually made soup. We had real soup today. The soup of the day was prime rib soup.
Yes, it was
So we've
delicious.
had that, and now we're going to have our Soup du Jour, and then I'm going to tell you about our special word, and then we're going to talk about packaging.
Kidding.
And kidding. We're not kidding you. Okay?
Not kidding.
Cheers, Cola.
Cheers.
I did that wrong. You know when you cheers someone, you're supposed to look them in the eye?
Oh yes, look.
It makes that toast sincere.
There you go.
That's delightful. So also
Good.
to honor my friend Charm, today's word of the day is Hanyak.
Hanyak. Now
Hanyak.
this one I have heard.
I know you've heard this word, but I thought it'd be fun
Hanyak.
because a lot
I didn't
of
know that's how it was spelled.
that
though.
is how you spell Hanyak. Honyak. That's Hanyak. Can you see that there? Yeah. Do you know what Hanyak is?
Why don't you tell them?
Well, when we were kids, my dad or my mom or people would often in that generation, they would say, well, you're acting like a bunch of Hanyaks. So there's Hanyaks down the road, and they would tell these stories about Hanyaks. I don't know if I really knew what it meant other than don't be a Hanyak, which,
Oh, that's the only thing I know of it to be.
yeah.
It's something else.
Well, it's a Polish or German descent, the word Hanyak, and it really meant people that don't really have a lot of manners, or they're kind of unkempt, or they got their car sitting in the front yard, like they call them Hanyaks, but we were called Hanyaks because we were just
Kids.
acting silly, or kind of like almost like a hillbilly or a redneck.
Huh.
And you were acting like a Hanyak. And Charm would use this word all the time, and she would always say, oh, God, you remember those guys? They were like Hanyaks or whatever. Like, I don't know what that meant, but I am oftentimes
Well,
probably
see,
a
I
Hanyak.
still learned something new with the word of the day because I thought it was just hoodlums or something.
Oh, well, kind of same thing. Same thing. You've probably been a Hanyak one time or two. So anyway, well, let's get started, and let's get over there. We're going to leave at the bar. This is our bar.
I was going to say we should talk about our bar. Nobody's seen our bar
Shoot,
yet.
I keep forgetting. I feel like everybody's watched Above the Bar, our weekly video series, but
So this is a beautiful bar that my uncle, her brother, Johnny, made with his bare hands. Made it from scratch, and he just had this design in his head.
It's got everything you could possibly want from
It's
a beautiful
beautiful.
bar, and apparently he's a Hanyak that also knows how to make
Yeah.
furniture.
And so he built us
So-
this bar. You had a vision to really put something in here that welcomed people in. Sometimes people don't leave. But the bar has done that.
It has. It
And
has.
It's amazing.
I really always thought that we would have a product bar where our clients could come in and sit down and we would talk to them here. And then behind us, instead of alcohol, be a wall of product and fun things. But as it turns out, it's alcohol.
People like to, have the drink and then just talk about the products and then say, you guys find it.
We're going to just take you to a little corner today.
Yeah.
And show you some of our little special things that we've been doing that have been keeping us busy as elves here over the past
have been little elves.
couple of months. So let's get over there. Cheers.
All right. So
And we're
here's another corner of the Soul and Swag studio that we like to change up a lot. There's random things we have over here. We like to mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking all things kidding and fulfillment today. It's become a huge part of what we've been doing the last few months. And now it's already trickling into this year, into 2021. So it's been awesome and exciting and a new challenge because we weren't very familiar with that up until we started doing these projects.
Exactly.
However, we have to do a quick flashback because my mom's always ahead of the times a little bit. Like she knew she wanted an iPhone like back in like 2002 or something, like ridiculous, before it was even existed. You knew you wanted that. She knew she wanted a cloud-based software program. Common skew then came to light, but knew that before like it even became a thing. And then last year we did these Christmas gifts and you have to show them what it is.
Maybe it was intuition, but this was the box that we did last year. We didn't want it to be just Christmas themed, but we did definitely want to do a box for everyone. And then we had different levels. So we came up with what we were going to put inside the box, and we decided to create snow day kits. And so this was the box that I designed and put fun things on each side. Winter is a good time to stay in and cuddle. Baby, it's cold outside. One day spring will step up and kick winter in the snowballs. Stay cozy, my friends. And so I went to work on designing this entire box, which is a little bit of a process because you have to lay it out. You're designing it flat, and then you're coming up with what you're putting in every section and where it's going to print and all of the things. I even printed on the inside flaps here and here. I printed a joke over here. What do snowmen eat for breakfast? The answer, Frosted Flakes. So I learned a lot because I did it for ourselves. Little did we know that these snow day kits, which also had an insert page in here of fun things you could do.
Yeah, we had a whole kit then of things for your snow day. So cards and a wine opener and a flashlight.
And what you could do with your family when you're spending time at home, and you can bake cookies and you can play games, and we gave them game ideas and all of these things.
Puzzle.
Little did we know we were actually curating
COVID kit.
I had no idea. We were just planning for when you had to stay home with snow, and it ended up lasting the whole year long, Clark. So but it was fun because I really discovered a lot about how to design on all of these boxes. So that was kind of the start. Yeah.
It was the beginning and kind of knowing what was to come. I don't know that you thought that was what was to come. Maybe just like a lot of snow days.
Yes, that's what I was predicting.
But people had those snow day kits to use all year long, which was great. So that leads us into what we started doing, which was a lot of kidding and fulfillment. And so let's start with really that first part of it is the ideation phase. So walk us through what that looks like with our customers.
Well, when our customers walk in here, we want them to feel like
they're
wowed. And we feel like and hope that the studio itself has that kind of vibration. And we do often have people walking off the street and wonder what we are. Are you a bar? Are you a lighting store? Do you sell furniture? They don't really understand who or what we are. They come in and think many things.
No, and I just tend to ask them when they say, is any of this for sale? I just say, how much do you want to pay for it?
Right.
It's more fun than
you
just
never
know.
Anything's for sale, I suppose. But when they come in, we typically know that we've got an appointment. We put that on our calendars. We try to stay organized with that. But we want to curate a VIP experience for them. We want to have some gifts ready for them. We want those gifts wrapped. So there's a bow, whatever it's presented. We take a sign. We have a chalkboard sign where we put their name on it and say welcome. And hopefully we found out if they have other people coming with them. So we're setting that stage really for them to come in. Then we offer them maybe flat water, sparkling, whatever. So we want to make them feel like they've just walked into the fanciest resort in wherever they've traveled to.
In Omaha, Nebraska.
Sure.
Nah, just kidding.
Wherever,
like Mexico or something.
wherever they go.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to start it. And then we want to get into what their story is and all of that storytelling of understanding, where do you want your brand to live? Who are you? What's your brand about? What have you done in the past? So we have a series of questions that we'll go through and talk to them about so that we can get to what they're trying to achieve. Because for them, we want them to understand you're not spending money on swag, or we got to do this, and budget is a scary word. So we talk about investments, because we know whatever they're giving out and whatever we give out, whatever our brand goes on, is a reflection of who we are and what we do and how we want to continue to build business together. And
For sure.
taking them through that journey and process, I think, Coley, you could definitely think back to meetings we've had. People have never, a lot of them have never looked at their business that way.
Mm-hmm.
They have this swag budget, or they're in charge of marketing and they were told to go buy something to put in the swag closet. And we make them see that from a different angle, because
Yeah.
it's far too important to do it that way.
I think that's one of my favorite things to try and help them realize, is that it doesn't just have to be, they talk about all these things left in a storage room that have been sitting there for 5 years. Well, if you bought them, why didn't you hand them out? So how can we help with that process, and knowing you're investing in the right thing, you're investing in quality products because we've done our research on the back end, and then you have a plan for when you're going to use it, right? Yes, do some people just need pens in that back closet or whatever it might be? Of course, but
office items.
Yeah. However, there's things where it's, here's what you're getting, here's when you're giving it out, and this is part of the plan. And that became even more evident when we started doing these boxes, right? Every one of them had a purpose and really a delivery date on it. And that kind of leads into the next part of it is timeline. I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned with the fulfillment process is after we start that ideation phase, which we love to do here, then it becomes timeline. How much time do we have, and what deadlines do we need to give to our customers?
Mm-hmm.
Because some of them don't have quite the right expectation.
Mm.
So there's that education piece
Yeah.
that goes into
And you've
what
got to
we're
have
doing.
a sense of humor to help walk them through that, because
Yes.
it's a new space for them. But
Yeah.
what I love about what you do is you kind of, I don't know that you'd say you love it, but you're very good at being able to take everything and really break it down and putting it all in there. Because, for example, when you have a client come in, and we did have one this year who she came in and they'd done something else in the past. She was the wife of the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And she had these kind of ideas of what she thought she wanted to do. And she had a budget of $30. And all of a sudden she was realizing that you can't get a $30 item with a $30 budget if you want something fulfilled and delivered.
Right.
They don't understand that it's not possible.
They
don't get it.
There's no such thing as free shipping.
Mhm.
Thanks, Amazon. But there isn't. So the shipping cost and the box cost and the fulfillment cost, you start backing all of that out, and all of a sudden you're down to maybe a $10 to $12 item instead. And so that's always a big question too, is do you actually have $100 to spend, or do you want a $100 gift to go in there? So that is a huge question we have to ask.
Yeah, and that is regardless if it's fulfillment or not, that people
Definitely.
and everybody deals with that same thing of understanding what a budget looks like.
And within that budget, we talk about too, valuing our time, which we've talked a lot about that over the years, but for sure it became even more kind of obvious as we were doing these projects. And some of the things that we learned along the way of, you figure out the box size. So measuring that out. And sometimes that can take longer than you want it to.
It's ridiculous.
It is. And then how much crinkle paper is going to go in there? Does something have to be bubble wrapped? Do we need tissue paper? Like, what are all the pieces that have to go into it? And then what is our time worth to do all of that?
Measuring the depth of the product to match the depth of the box, plus the protection it needs to go in the box and all that. Anybody who does any of this, they're like, hey, you're speaking my language. I get it.
Exactly.
But your ability to kind of go through that, like in just a little brief form, what does that look like? What have you kind of tried to devise in order to make, because no two orders are ever alike.
No.
No two fulfillment projects are ever similar.
No.
Maybe similar, but they're definitely not alike. So what are you doing to try to make this process easier for us? The client on the other end sees only this beautiful thing and this whole thing, and yes, we can do that. But what are you doing to make it get there?
Yeah, and again, every project I felt like we kept learning something new, and we continue to try and figure out how can we do this? How will we make sure we're making money off of this? And a couple people that I talked to said, try to do a time trial, right? So get the box, get an approximate size of the box, time trial it out with the items that have to go in, bubble wrap, whatever, the whole thing. Sometimes you don't have time for that. So sometimes it's a little more of a guessing game. But I did create this fun little spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets most of the time. To try and calculate that, to really show, okay, what do we think we need to charge? And we're charging that at least on a lowest 40%, if not a 50% margin. So looking at that, and then afterwards having the follow-up. So I think in the beginning days, if you haven't done fulfillment before, for people who haven't done it or are thinking about doing it, that was the biggest thing, was tracking all of that. To say, okay, all of our time, all the crinkle paper, the bubble wrap, what were all our costs? And then in the end, what did we make? So that we really can look back and say, this is what, went well, this is what didn't. When I do the time trial though, one thing I learned was I would do it, and let's say it only took me 90 seconds. I would take that times 3.5 or 4 when I was figuring out the cost. Because there's all these things you don't think about. Right? Like, one, the product has to come here. So somebody has to be there to receive it.
I think this goes back to our coaching, right?
Yes.
You never know what's going to happen when the game starts. So you always need to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah.
And the unexpected traditionally happens. The client throws in an extra curveball that you didn't expect. Something happened that didn't arrive. You measured a product here that we thought was similar to what was going to go in the box to order the box. And then the product came was a little bigger.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
There's a lot that goes into it. And then, the stuff getting here, setting up, the in-between of breaking down boxes. Some things only come 6 to a box. So you've got now hundreds of boxes to take down. And our team has taken down a lot of boxes in the past few months.
After we opened them all.
Yes. So take them all down, and then just all of it. Staying organized with the project. The other big thing that I learned was the label part of it. And so using the shipping program we use, but sometimes it doesn't go as smoothly as you want it to. So really looking at how much time is that going to take me, do I think? And let's charge for that. And then I can reflect on it later to see, do I need to charge more, less? Even the labels, the cost of the labels, all the little pieces that go into all of it in order to figure out a final cost.
If I might ask you this, do the customers always send you their information correctly?
Oh. Wouldn't that be just too easy? Too easy. We did one recently. Now, this was a super fun project that we did, and we'll show you some pictures of it. But a local company, we kind of priced it out based on a box, 2 items, crinkle paper. Done, out the door. So that's what I based my time trial on. Then we had some additions. Yeah, we had some additions to that, which is great. The customer was okay with it. They knew it was going to be extra. So I think that ties into one of my other big things with fulfillment is transparency. Right away saying, this is what's included, and being very diligent about that. We learned that on that one. Good thing we put craft crinkle paper because they wanted navy. So we were able to cover ourselves and order more. Silly things. But all the extra pieces that then went into that project.
This is why we did batch and bodega for our holiday gifts this year. So we could help our clients fulfill theirs.
Easy button. Easy button. But then the fulfillment part, fortunately for us, we have some family and friends that like to be put to work for now. So we're not in a place where we're doing full-time fulfillment.
And we were very fortunate because we had this beautiful studio, but we have incredible landlords. And there was a space available just down, a few bays down, and I said to Cole, I go, what if we just ask them about that space? I mean, it's COVID, nobody's renting anything, whatever. And so we did. We asked them, they took us down and showed us, and what would you charge us if we could just use this through the end of the year, which is almost here, tomorrow. And they said, well, if you like it, you can just use it at no cost. And I almost fell to my knees. Like, there are these joyous moments through all of these trials and difficult things. We never asked for any help. with our studio or anything, and I'm going way off key, but if you ask, sometimes things happen for you, because what we've been doing, I'm not sure how we would have pulled all of that off if we wouldn't have just had these little blessings and the grace of people around you. But you do have to put yourself and be vulnerable and ask the questions. And that's kind of what's been able to help us be successful with it.
For sure. For sure. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole fulfillment project or process. That's what we've been working a lot on, and look forward to doing more in the new year. And fortunately, my brother wants to have some part-time work. He's in the golf business.
You can't golf a lot here when there's an inch, or not an inch. There's
like
like
a
12
foot of
inches
snow.
of snow
Yeah.
on the ground. So we've been putting him to work as well.
Yes.
But it is fun. What's fun is at the end of it, and we actually are getting emails of compliments back from people who have received the boxes or people that bought them, and they're overjoyed. They're overwhelmed. They find so many, I don't know, happy moments that have touched our hearts to think that's why we're doing this. That's why we're putting it all out there to make this happen. So if you have fulfillment questions, I would contact someone else. Just kidding. But you do amazing work, Cola, and I am glad that we can do this and help our clients. And then putting it all together, it's actually quite worthwhile.
It is. It's been fun.
It is.
Well, cheers to a new year, all you Hanyaks out there.
Yeah. Don't be a Hanyak. Or do. It's kind of fun. Cheers.